Can't hear anything.
Welcome everyone. Hello to those who already joined.
Hello?
Hello. What background should I have? This is kind of cool. Fantastic. People are already using Zoom chat. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Let me get the chat window up so I can easily see. We're going to start. Let me get all of the logistic ready. So can just to check for those who just joined, if you see my screen and you want to say yes, I see it, feel free to write me a chat message. Actually, I'm setting a link as well. I just sent a link to day one, which is the day. Everything I'm teaching today is going to be on this page. So, and I'm going to start recording our lecture as well. We're going to start in, momentarily. Let me make sure I have everything. So one more check. If I press full screen like this, are you able to see all the slides full screen?
Yes.
Okay, so you, thank you very much. So if you have yes, you say yes, I can hear, wonderful. If you feel comfortable muting yourself and then just type anything, that's wonderful. Okay, let's get started. Right now we have 33 people and counting, and this is super exciting. Get the recording button up. It's already recording, right? Okay, let's start. Welcome everyone. This is a very special evening because we kick off something that we haven't really done before, something that, we're very good with getting people to learn how to program and, just be there with them, having the personal interaction. We have done some online teaching, but right now I'd like to welcome you to a different program. This is CoderSchool taking one of our courses to bring online to invite you to learn web development with us in this very special time. Why is it a special time? It is an online course, and you see a lot of online interaction right now, online learning resources, but this is a time that we are in a very uncertain time. We may have fear, doubt. We can't go to places. Even if we do want to have fun, we don't feel safe. Some people don't like us doing that. And it is really difficult to feel we know exactly what to do every day. And we hope that with CoderSchool, you're here with us, you will know what to do this evening for the next 2 hours with me, right? For the next 5 days, you will be thinking about web programming with us. I am the teacher at CoderSchool, and we will have teaching staff and teaching assistant. And why am I showing you this slide? This is an article you can check out at the bottom. When adults are busy, looking up all the statistics, talking about what's the right way to do anything, right? The children are still learning. And it's normally difficult for children to learn because they're so active, they need to go to school, right? If they at home, how do we, how do they learn? Actually, they always learn, they fail, they try things. And for example, these kids, they draw, they make crafts, right? They don't have to hang out with a lot of people. They continue to grow. And in a way, we are doing that right now. We're not using paper and pen, but I hope that you will feel like this, where you build something you're proud of, something creative through the skills that we teach. And all of that is done online. And we're doing it in a very positive spirit, right? For example, these kids are painting rainbows to remind the world that, hey, let's stay positive, let's stay peaceful. It's not about you cannot enter my country. It's not about racism, right? So to start off the class today, make use of Zoom chat. Right? I love that you already say hello and yes. Type a couple of words in Zoom. This is one way to say hi to one another. And just say, how are you feeling? So I will type something, right? And you can practice your English vocabulary too. Maybe there's some words you haven't used before. For example, I am feeling nervous, tingling. Tingling is a sensation on your skin, right? Some of us feeling good, fun, anxious. Awesome, I like that. Feeling normal, cool, staying calm, feeling excited. Awesome. So you see that, right? Thank you for the contribution, because it's also giving me the sense that I'm not alone. Inspired, thank you. So I'm teaching with you, I'm interacting with you, and I need more of these, right, to go forward. Even though today is a lecture, right, but you will learn more if you put in to encourage me to continue, and I will learn more by getting the interaction from you. Moving on, back to CoderSchool. So CoderSchool now is almost 5 years old, and the mission is now evolved to creating opportunity for everyone, everywhere. We're lucky to have Charles join us today, but I will try not to talk too much about him, even though that's exciting to do so. With CoderSchool, we see clearly that we're in a huge shortage of programmers. And when we say programmers, developers, coders, we're actually talking about people who build applications, right? Who can play with code, right? Who can tingle with software. So lots of job opportunities out there. And there's a big shortage, and CoderSchool can fill that, right, by bringing this opportunity to different parts of Vietnam and Southeast Asia. So a little backstory. What is CoderSchool? It was founded in 2015. On the photograph, you see that's Charles. Charles also on, wave your hand, yeah, Charles. So Charles, he was in San Francisco, right, living his, his tech life, and took a break, went on vacation in Vietnam. I happened to also left San Francisco I left San Francisco and came back to Vietnam at around similar time. And Charles organized an iOS class teaching people how to build iPhone applications. And I was like, let's take it. And I met him, and then we became co-founders of CoderSchool. Over the course of 5 years, Charles has taken CoderSchool to what it is today. And you can see a little stats there. My involvement was active in the first 2+ years. In the past 2 years, I've joined another company to lead engineering teams. And right now, I'm in the transition stage where I get to do this with CoderSchool. I get to continue to teach and share knowledge with you guys. So you're gonna spend, let me just, okay, we have a chat request, the link, the invite link. So hopefully some CoderSchool staff will take care of that. So you will spend a lot of time with me on this slide. I don't like talking about myself, but maybe it'll be interesting when there's only one slide. I really like coding. You probably can guess. And I've been coding for 24 years. So maybe some of you can guess the first programming language was Pascal. That was in, when I was 11 years old. So throughout, right, of course you have to do a lot of other things, but I continue to do a lot of coding, competitive programming, study computer science at Yale in the US, went to Microsoft, and then went to start a few companies. One of them is CoderSchool. Oh, some of you are asking how old are you? Yes, 24 years since I was 11, so you can guess the age. 34, turning 35. And TinyPost is a company, a tech startup that is already growing, and I had the opportunity to lead as a director of engineering and operations. So it was a tremendous opportunity to work with a lot of talented developers in Saigon and Seattle, United States. Now, back in my life now, it's not just about writing code. I love teaching people how to write code, but I think you may ask, well, what you're writing now, it may not be relevant in 5 years. It's true. The code that I wrote, right, 20 years ago is very different from the code now. 20 years ago, I was just copying people's code, right, and it was ugly code. But we're talking about programming. Programming is about solving problems. For example, you learn design. Design is also to understand, right, and solve problems. It's not about writing code. So by learning how to write code, you learn how to solve problems in a different way. And I hope that you will realize that this is one of the fastest ways for us to grow in this tech, right, era, right? Grow by learning, and you don't spend too much time learning. Learn a little bit, build, just apply what you learn, and for sure you will fail. But the thing is, if you work with computer, if you work with IoTs, right, you get the feedback fast. Share your failures, share what works, fail, repeat. And even what I'm doing right now is problem solving. I'm trying to communicate to you the joy of of writing code. And I'm just gonna, say something that doesn't make sense to you. I fail. But the next time I try to say something to someone, I will repeat and I will get better. If you need to get in touch with me, that's my email on the screen, harley@coderschool.vn. We also have a few channels, and I think I am not the most interesting person for you to talk to. So this is a 1-week program, and it's very different from what we have done before, right? This is CoderSchool wanting to take the risk of just trying to share web development, during this time when people feel like, what am I doing? What am I making use of my time? Should I be afraid, right? Should I do all these other things? No, okay, you can learn with us, right? You can do it, and we don't even have to go to class, right? We do it the social distance way. And you will see this phrase a lot, right? Right now, social distancing. Don't go to bars, don't go to clubs, don't go to restaurants. The effort in this class is up to you. So it's as simple as this. We do our best, right? And if you put in little, you get little. If you put in big, you get big, right? However big, well, the internet is your resources. I am not the person who gives you knowledge. I am giving you some direction. and the effort is up to you. You can make use of the CoderSchool interaction to learn and fail and repeat. Now, here's the chance to test your dedication and discipline. Why do I say that? Well, there are two types of people. If you think that you have not been dedicated to something before, if you think that your discipline has not been very good, this is a time that you're not distracted by, soccer games, a lot of other things outside. This is a chance for you to train your dedication, practice your self-discipline. Who's testing you? It's you, right? We're just creating this environment. If you can do that, if you become more dedicated, if you put in the efforts, you build something cool, and we can share what you built, you give us the best gift. So that is one direction. Another direction is, if you know you are already a very disciplined person, you can put in the dedication. You just need to know what, right? Well, ask us questions. Is programming for you? Okay, may not be a career, but 1 week, hell yeah, you're already a very disciplined person. You can learn how to build web application in a week. And finally, this is again a time when we're not sure what's going on next. Tomorrow, they may say we close school for another 3 months. How do you communicate? This is a chance for us to test our communication, right? I'm testing mine right now. And I'm also amazed, right, at the internet, because you know that we're talking online. There's so many people, I don't know how hundreds of millions of people maybe, right? They're also talking online right now because, the whole world, we are social distancing, right? So the internet is going to get problems. Sometimes you may not hear me very well. How do you get the content of what I say if you don't get that connection? Sometimes your connection may break down and I may not be able to help you fix in time. So this is a chance for us to overcome that. Remember, programming is about solving problems. Okay, just a little bit more on the logistics before we get into the content. The ways to interact with us, with one another, is that, well, first, you're here because you read emails, am I right? You probably come from, just different sources, different places. Your friends share something on Facebook or via email. Interestingly, they probably didn't tell you about CoderSchool in a club because you can't go clubbing right now. But, thank you. Use emails for, read the emails from CoderSchool for important announcements. You can send questions in email. But emails, they can be slow. So we create chat, right? Chat is real-time communication. In a way, we make use of our community here. We have, 42 people online right now. And you all please join the Discord link. And you don't have to do that right now. Do it, by the end, after this class finishes. And when you're there, you're stuck, right? You can ask questions. You want to make friends, you can ask questions. You want to share something you discovered. You want to give feedback, that's yours. I want to mention some other ways. Remote access. Well, this is useful for online teaching in general. I'm sharing my screen right now, but it can also mean you can share your screen and I can, look at your screen and give feedback. When I say I, it means CoderSchool teaching staff, right? We will have teaching assistant, tomorrow on day 2, we will do lab exercises. We also have some of the teaching assistant here today. And we will, if you can make use of remote access, we can request remote access on your computer. You turn on the security setting, allow it, and then we can guide you through through step by step. Now, this is not as easy when we have a room full of people, like 50 people, right? But just know that that's one of the tools we can use. If we can make use of it, well. For example, I'm helping one person, but 49 other people can still learn by looking at the same screen. One more thing that is polls. Zoom provides a feature that's now pretty convenient. I set up a couple of polls on Zoom. I will share them quickly. And that is one way to get interaction from you. I get to know you without making each person, right, spending time talking on the microphone or chat. So at the end of the day, make friends. If you go outside, it's very easy to see someone else's face and somehow, strike a conversation. Again, it is a really special time right now, but I get the honor of speaking and 50 people listen to me, and many of them will become my friends. So let me repeat this because it's important. Learn by interacting. And interacting is a big word. How do you interact? If you turn on the camera on Zoom, you're welcome to do that. You can wave hello to Charles and myself. If you write something on chat, you're welcome to do that. Something positive and encouraging is great. If I'm speaking too fast, you can ask me to slow down. That will help other people as well. Learn by asking. You're not here for one direction, right? Knowledge transfer. Asking is the way to check, just like the internet, right? It's from A to B, but B have to check with A. Hey, is it the right information you transfer to me, right? You can ask, hey Harley, so is it true that I can build a website with just HTML, right? That kind of question is powerful because it's building your muscle memory. It's giving you, it's getting your blood flow. It's getting you to apply what you heard, because what you think you hear may not be the same. Learn by doing. And there are many types of doing, and we can get confused. Problem solving is a lot more than just copy, right? But at this early stage, I will be demoing a lot of code writing, and I ask you that when it's your turn, please write the code manually yourself, right? Do it yourself. Don't just, I'm just fast. I'm just gonna glance through everything. It's not gonna stay. Here's when monkey see, monkey do style of learning works. Okay. Later on, after you already have this foundation, you don't learn by just copying, but focus a lot on typing the code yourself. And finally, learn by helping. Learn by helping. It's like asking, but this time you get an extra dose of happiness to your brain because you just did something nice to someone, and it's real. It's a physical reaction to it. So try it out. If you know something someone may not, spend time helping them, and you can see if what you're helping works or not, and you can learn from that. Okay. Here's one trick we normally use. It's easy to switch to the chat and type DDD. It means thumbs up or yes. You can type QQQ, right? So thank you, G. And so cool, right? So that's thumbs up. And that's sometimes if I just say is it right or wrong, typing yes may take a long time. So nice, you can type a big one. So, all right, before I get to this, I'm gonna do a poll, right? Get ready, because I'm polling you guys for interaction right now, okay? This is for us to, as a quick introduction. You all should get something on your screen right now, and I'm teaching you how to do web development on the computer. It doesn't make sense if I don't know a few things about your computer. So take a minute to submit. I have 5 people submitted, now 8, 9, 10, amazing. 25 seconds in, I have 25 people submitted, right? And even you answering questions, right? You're learning something from the choices that you see, right? So always be asking, wait, why did he ask that, right? Is that useful? Oh, what is that choice? What is brave? What is edge? Some of you may not have heard of them before, okay? And this is helpful because the audience is all of you guys. Everyone will learn at a different pace, and it's completely okay. You're going to help each other out, but these kind of questions will help me understand where we are as the class. We're 90% there. I wonder, if we should wait for another, I'm just gonna wait 5 seconds, okay? If you submit, 3, 2, 1. All right, I have 37 out of 41 poll. And I'm gonna share result back to you guys. So very quickly, first question is, what's the main web browser you're using? Chrome. Wow, this is great. And Firefox, and Safari are equal, right? That's really interesting. Firefox, Safari, and IE, Microsoft Edge is IE, the new IE. No one uses Opera, but one person uses Brave. Wow. It means you're a little, more hacker type, right? So have you written any HTML, CSS before? Interestingly, well, this is what we expect. Half of the people haven't touched that. But interestingly, 32% say they have written some HTML, some CSS, and JavaScript. Can you believe that, right? You sign up for this and it's a beginning class and you have some experience. So thank you. That is really useful for me to know. I would try to have it so that, anyone's gonna learn something new. So if you find the course too easy to follow, I'm sorry, let me know. If you find the course too hard to follow, you have 2 options. Option 1, please still let me know. Option 2, you can still catch up by asking others to help you. Number 3, have you clicked and viewed the pre-course syllabus link? Apologies to those who didn't know about it. Go back to the slides later. We have many ways to interact, but probably we will make sure that this time tomorrow, right? You already have this link. You can see the pre-course syllabus. You can see the content of the lecture today. You can also see the content of tomorrow. You can even do it before coming to class tomorrow at 7 p.m. So no problem, you haven't had time, and majority of the people already clicked. So thank you, right? 20 people, and some people already saw my day 1 notes and read them. So thank you. They will get updated as we go, adjusted based on our speed. Okay. Okay. So back to I'm gonna click stop sharing. And get back to our slide. How are you feeling right now? One more time, just that. Why am I asking? Time has passed. You may have gotten tired, right? For me, I've been talking, and I could be more nervous. I am feeling more focused. I feel comfortable. I feel good right now because I see that you guys participate a lot. So I'm less nervous. I'm very comfortable. How are you guys feeling? Awesome. Why are you nervous? Like, you want me to ask you say something on the screen? All right, totally focused. So when I see that you are focused, right, it means I'm having some level of success. And it's not because of me. My success is because you actually creating that focus environment for yourself. So thank you. So let's continue. Thank you, really excited. All right. Go back to programming. You will hit a lot of frustration when you write code. It doesn't work, right? I thought, this is exactly it, but it's not. Let me compare with something, right, that I have. I have a 1.5-year-old daughter. And imagine, right now I'm in this room, right, talking. Imagine how much effort I had to ask her to leave the room. I have to ask her to understand me. Hey, if you just go there and daddy is gonna work, that's one thing. And then, she always likes to learn. She likes to touch things, grab things, spill water on the floor, right? Do I get frustrated? Well, that's up to me. I learned to understand her and also be understood. And when you deal with your computer, when I was younger, before I got married, every time I learn a new programming language, I was like, this is my new girlfriend, right? It means you're not gonna write the new programming language the way you wrote the previous one. You have to change your way of thinking. So it's like, this is a new girlfriend. You cannot treat her the same way as before. So back then it's like, programming is cool, is sexy, right? That's that. But now I'm married, with children, then I'm like, it's about understanding, right? So It's a journey for me. And imagine when I can teach her how to code, I can, maybe she would teach me how to draw and a lot of other things. So when you have this affection, when you have this, these feelings, right? Like connection with programming. Oh man, this web page, if I just do that, my user will be so much happier, right? A few years from now, some of you will be working on products that a lot of people use. And sometimes you have to care that much to understand the user, right? And the user feel understood. When you working with, the computer right now, it's back and forth. Damn it, I make this change. Can you please, work, right? So should you be patient? Should you get frustrated? If you like the code editor, that's one step ahead. Don't use a code editor that you don't like. Okay, so the goal of the week is to build, give you a taste of what we achieve after 4 days, right? By the end of day 4, which is Thursday, you will have something that looks like this. And on Saturday, hackathon, well, you get teamed up and then you come up with different ideas, and now that's really up to you. You can prepare beforehand. Again, if you put in big, you get big. If you put in little, you get little, and it's okay. We just need everyone to have a chance to do something these days. So I just fast forward real quick, but the goal is you can build an application like this. This is a website. Well, you can call it a web page because we're not linking to different pages, but you can also call it a web application because it can do things, it's dynamic. So this page pulls the real-time data from a third-party source, right? That has data on the statistic of people affected by the coronavirus in each country. What can we do with that information, right? We take that data. It's not in HTML. We take it in JSON format, and we can parse that data, and then we insert that onto the screen. What you see here is HTML code, right, presenting the information on the screen, and then you use CSS to add in the colors. So, for example, I use light blue for things that we're learning, right, from information. I'm using light pink, right, for this sensitive time about this stats. It's not very happy. We're seeing the number of people with infections. We're not seeing the number of people died and recovered. So that's an example. You can enhance this page. You don't have to do exactly the same way. You can use emoji, use font, and you can build more buttons. I give you some other ideas. You can sort the cards. So that's an idea, right? If you follow this class, you put in the effort. If you get stuck, you can ask, right? You can interact. And actually, by trying to figure things out when you fail, that's the only way to learn. If you don't get stuck, I promise you that's a terrible way to learn. So today is a lot of me talking, and that's why we have to stop and do polls and do other things so that, to get you not to fall asleep. But today and Wednesday, okay? And you watch me code, follow along. So follow along is very relative here, okay? I have no idea what you're doing at your computer. You may be, lying in bed, right, with the iPad screen, or have a computer on your laptop just for half an hour. You may go to the bathroom. All of that's fine, right? Follow along means, well, one, you can just follow my screen. If you are fancier, you may have 2 monitor screen. You look at my lecture on one screen, you start the browser and you type along. I will provide you the link. You can do that yourself, right? You can ask, hey, slow down, wait. I think that's important. I'm not the only one who doesn't get that. Hey, your connection was bad. Let me know. There's chat right here. So, and don't forget there is a recording. So, we will be able to watch. If you skip to the part that you missed, that's another way to catch up. Tomorrow is day 2 and Thursday is day 4. Same time, but you come to class, you already know what to do, right? You have the link to the lab. We call them lab because it's mostly you. I will probably still talk, hey, I'm trying to help here. Maybe, I don't know if it's possible to bring everyone back at 8:45 p.m. and then say, hey guys, how was your work? And I'm gonna recap, right? These are the things we did. I will do that, but I have no idea how well it will turn out. You may be like, no, let me do my thing. I'm good. That's okay too. We'll find out. And for Saturday, it's also one of our first ever, right? We've done it in much smaller group, and people already have some skills. But here, these groups, we trust that some magic is going to happen when we hit that button on Zoom, assign people into groups, and then they, whoa, I'm in a group with you, and we're going to build something together. Some magic things going to happen. So, and once by Saturday you have some skills, you can build anything from. We'll give you some ideas on what to build, but website with HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript. And I forgot one thing. We will have some presentation, and the winner will get a small prize. So at this stage, I can only reveal that much, and we have the whole CoderSchool staff with you, and they will share more. So today, first day of lecture. Thank you again. Thanks for the message there. First day. Finally, we get to what is it all about. The goal today, you don't get to learn JavaScript today. Sorry, right? Well, technically, you can if you want. It's your editor. You can add more stuff. But I will cover HTML and CSS to build a simple website. Even if you have known it already, don't worry, right? We're not going note by, just like chapter by chapter. In fact, we're taking the risk of going, well, this is ABCD, let's do it. And then there will be a lot of questions along the way. I think one of the wonderful things that CoderSchool does is we don't teach this by following the textbook, right? Because the guide, I think the resources you can get on the internet, right? As long as you understand what I'm saying right now, you have English, you Google it, you can always find better things that we can give you. What we can give you is a flow, how I would solve the problem, and then it's an interaction. You can intervene with me, with my work, and then we make things better, make it yours. So very quickly, web design, it say web design here, but yes, if you have a designer that gives you something like a sketch file or a Photoshop file, then you know what to design for. If you don't have a designer who works with you, or you may be the designers yourself, you can still build stuff and make it beautiful with these three things. You start with HTML, you write some code. So imagine it looks like your Word document. You start with a blank page, insert some title. The Word document, you have to use all the toolbars, right? And set the font size, insert table. You can do that with HTML. But now you're writing code. It's a lot more exciting, right? CSS comes in as a styling structure, and it's a different language. So you look at the structure of the page and you say, well, this heading should be red, right? This heading should be in the center. And there are a lot of other things you can do about it. Then JavaScript is when you need to make the page come to life. What happens when you click a button, right? What happens when you drag an image from A to B? You have mouse interaction, you have keyboard interaction, right? You have animation. You can do animation, things moving on the screen with CSS as well as with JavaScript. So that's the general idea. You're not able to do all of that if you want to do all of that. Take our longer bootcamp when you get a lot of projects. But for this week, we do just enough to build the project that you saw earlier. So here's a sample HTML page. Like I say, it's like a Word document. This is really boring. On the left-hand side, you have one of the most basic website, right? You don't have all these images and navigation bar and everything. But imagine if you have a simple website. This is a heading. In the middle, that's what your code looks like. And you may think that, okay, that's a lot of typing. It's true, it's a lot of typing. but the code editor is also very smart. You only need to type what you want. You intend to set, for example, HTML structure. This is a heading, right? You don't have to type a lot of other things because sometimes the code editor is able to complete what you type. It's called autocomplete. It's called, it's IntelliSense. It's called, smart suggestions, a lot of that. So that is one of the reasons why writing, we feel really powerful, writing code, because the computer is helping us as we go. Okay, so HTML, we mentioned HTML, and interestingly, what you're looking at on the screen, I am doing it in a website. You see this? This is a website, and I'm using a website to teach you how to build website. And the slides are embedded on this page right here, right? For any page, I can view the page source. And when you view the source of the page, if I zoom in right here, you start to feel, even though you don't know what most of these lines are, you start to feel familiar. Oh, okay, so this is a text file, and it's saying HTML here, right? Well, there's something strange here, doc type HTML. Maybe all documents have it, all HTML page have it. Okay, that's fine. I see head. Maybe I see body. And yes, you will finish the head part and then body, and all the way you close the body at the bottom. So this page is very long, obviously. My lecture note is very long there. Let me give you another example. You see, you just saw my web page, the day one notes as a web page. You can also do it with inspect. In Chrome, I'm using the Chrome browser. The other browser could be similar in developer tool, and then view source, inspect, they're there. And you can hear it's a little bit more powerful. It's dynamic, you can collapse. So now you can see why we call it HTML structure, because here's the structure. It looks like a tree, right? You can go in and out of the pages, right? So this is a navigation bar. This is the box here and there. So obviously that's a lot to look at. To just give you one idea. Let's look at another beautiful page, Cuisine, the restaurant. And this could be, interestingly, here's some background. A lot of people who become great web developers, that I've seen in my generation, they started out just building restaurant website, a shop website, right, for someone else. Hey, can you give me that project? I build it for you. And it's just HTML and some styling, some HTML and CSS. Sometimes very little JavaScript. So this is Luzine. It's a beautiful website with video. You can do, gorgeous effects on them. So with CSS, you can make them display this color, right? And then with, you can do that drop down, and CSS can do all of that. And with JavaScript, then sometimes you can create some dynamic effect. I'm not going to be able to see it here. But the point with here is that you can inspect, and once again, you can see the source code, and it's really exciting to see, oh, this is how you insert an image, right? Oh, this is how they write that shop, big header. It looks nice. It says shop there. So what do they do in there? Okay, so, the word shop, and then they style it. Okay, so you can discover by learning. Let me take a question here. Is there a footer in HTML or just body and header? Thank you very much. That's a wonderful question. No, footer, yes, footer can exist, but HTML doesn't require it. You just have head and body. Okay, so HTML have head. In the head is the stuff that you normally don't see, is not visible. But in body, that's where you start adding the stuff that will be displayed. Okay. So we just look at a few examples and let's continue. I'm going to zoom in one more time. So now we're in a full screen mode. It's not really a web page anymore. This is now an application, right? Earlier, we're just looking at a tab in the browser, and that's the website. Okay, so this will answer your question as well, Aaron. A basic HTML document looks like this. And by now you kind of familiar with it, right? Notice in the head, I have a title. What you see here is called a title element. At the beginning is a title tag, opening tag. And then at the end, there's a slash title. That's a closing tag. So an element begins with a tag, an opening tag, and ends with a closing tag. But those tags, the users don't see, right? The user who visit your website, they see what's inside the tag. So down here, you see in this gray area, H1, this is a heading. The user only see this is the heading. Now in title, go back to this title box. When it says page title here, it's what you see in the browser tab right here. For example, shop Luzine right here. So you can see that I see shop dash L Luzine Cafe shop, and that is the title of the document. And how do I know that? You know, Chrome understand that and Chrome put it there. And you see here, that's the title. Okay. Correct. So header body, yes, thank you. Long, right? Don't think the header and the body HTML have the same meaning as in Word. Yeah, be very careful with, you know, these things, header, heading. Yeah, we should always question it. I would say in Word, you see heading when you hit the format. You see heading 1, heading 2, and I think that may be quite similar when we call it a heading instead of header. And then in HTML, you see a head element, but some people build the top part of the page and they call it the header, right? That's really confusing, right? Because they want to call it the header, and then they add something at the bottom. They call it the footer, right? Header and footer, right? So some people love to do that. Some people put navigation as nav. So those are also HTML elements. You can name them, right? HTML is flexible. Let me say that again. HTML5, the latest format, is flexible. And it will be very powerful when you, instead of just saying, you know, P, this is another paragraph, you can call it maybe a section. Instead of P, right here, and this is another paragraph. You can say open tag section and then close section. Right? So you can come up with words that tell another developer, another person who read your code, you know, the meaning behind it. Okay, so very basic today before we do it live. A recap: HTML head and body, they are sort of the elements that you see in there, but they're not really to display the content. They're there to help you with the structure. H1, H2, H3, we will see them, right? This is to display the heading, and you can probably guess which one give you a big heading, which one give you a smaller heading. P is normally for paragraph. If you have a lot of text, you know, in Word or in a lot of Word documents, Google Docs words, right? When you write a paragraph and you press enter, the spacing after the paragraph, right? There's a bit of spacing there. The spacing is more between the lines, and there's some spacing before the paragraph. So there's some styling that comes with the P element for that. BR is for break. So if you have a lot of lines of text and you don't want to split them into paragraphs, and you can put BR tag, right? The less than sign, BR, and then close greater than sign. You will see that. It's to split, to break any long sentences into smaller sentences, and they could be in the same paragraph. A is for links, anchor, and image is IMG. So these are HTML tags, and we will see how they read content in a minute, right? And finally, we will cover div. Div is like, it's short for maybe division. Division, section, you know, these are English words that just mean that it's a container, right? It's something that contains something else. It's a division, you know, group A, group B, group C. So div is very good to group them together. Okay, let's try them on repo.it. Now, here, let me take a second to remind you to watch my very short videos in the lecture. So go home and watch that. It is how to use repo.it. We choose REPL so that you don't have to worry about setting up a code editor on your computer, and there's many powerful features. We can share each other's code, and you can follow all the code I write easily. So watch this, but I'm not going to explain this how to use REPL, but watch that video. That's your homework. So I already signed up on REPL. This is the online code editor. I create a new REPL. We are learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We call a new REPL, but it's a new project, right? It's a new website. And I can name it anything. So I can name it like, real lecture. So, real day one, because as you can imagine, I practiced, right? I have practiced day one before. Okay, create a REPL. Okay, so very quickly, we are here on a website, right? You can call it a web page, and you go from one web page to another. It is also a web application because it can do a lot of things. Now I'm here on this page. This is the URL, repl.it/Harley here, and then build day one. So this URL, I can give it to you. And so if anyone wants to, you don't have to click on it, by the way. I put on chat because right now it's an empty website, okay? But maybe when you click on it later, you will see the new code. So keep it there. You can always use it to check what the web looks like on your computer. So that's one. That's the URL of the web. Here I have, that's wonderful. Thank you, Sarah, for asking. What's the meaning of the tag meta? We will cover that soon. No, we don't have to cover it too much because it's convenient. Hopefully I can explain in 1 minute. The word meta, it already means that probably it's not for what the user is going to see. So meta here means it's the extra stuff, right? It's the extra information. So for example, in life, in other examples in tech, if you make a phone call to someone, so if I call Charles, right? I am signed out. You guys see it? Hello? Yeah, I just say I've been signed out because my device, okay, good, I can continue. Thank you so much. So that's very good to see the chat. Okay, so meta is the extra information. And you hear this word a lot, metadata, right? If I call Charles, what we talk on the phone is the data of our phone call. But if you look at the, if the phone vendor, they actually can see the metadata, location, where I call from, how long the call is, and all that is metadata. So here we give some meta information, metadata. We say that let's use Unicode for this HTML document. Let's use, in this case, let's make the content, right? Decide how wide the browser should be by default, okay? And so you don't have to worry so much. The beautiful thing about REPL, it create a project with this much code. It's called boilerplate, right? It means, well, it just means you don't have to worry about them. Everyone can start with this, and it's the latest, modern standard. So this is HTML5, and this is the head. You don't have to worry about them. Let's change one thing. Let's change the title, right? So title is, for example, if I do discover HTML and I save it, I hit run, it will change the title. How do I know? This is, let's jump to the right-hand side. This is the web page that I am building. This URL, you want to share to your friends, right? It is the web page you're building. This is the code editor. So you don't have to share this to your friend. You can share it with your teacher. But on this side, this is what you show off, right? Did you see discover HTML here? Right? That's because I set the title. Now, I don't have to go to a different tab, right? The beautiful thing of REPL, I can do everything in here. So let's practice what we already know. H1 tag. So this is a heading. And I am going to say the first heading. So, and I click run, but I also can press the command enter, and I see it live, and I start getting familiar with it. And you can do the same thing for yourself. If you go to the link, this link, now you can see the page. If you go to the link at the top here, you can see the whole editor. However, you cannot change it. It is my link. I haven't invited you to it yet, okay? So I'll keep going. What can we learn with HTML? Okay, we already know there's a p tag. So this is a sentence, but maybe I can have multiple sentences. So I can do something like that, and I close the paragraph, right? So, and a paragraph, obviously it flows. You know, if you make the browser smaller, it just flows like that, it's natural. And we learn, let's say, let's create a link to Google, okay? Okay, so maybe link to CoderSchool, in case some of you don't know where CoderSchool is. So if you just do this, right, it will look like a link. It doesn't look like a link yet. It doesn't, it's just a tag. But if I say href, or just, you know, a keyword, when you learn programming, some keywords are just determined by the inventor, right? This is reference to HTML page. So I can go to CoderSchool.vn. So if I create that, it becomes a link. And if I click on this link, it should take me to CoderSchool. If I click on this link right now, it tried to go to CoderSchool in the same tab. So I don't want that. So you can ignore this part if you don't understand. Some of you may already know. So I put target blanks, mean if I click here, it will take me to CoderSchool website on a different tab. Okay, great. Another good question, is it okay to put the script tag in head? Will there be errors? You guys are asking advanced questions. I love it. I haven't touched the script tag down here. Yes, it is okay to put script tag in the head. The difference is this. First, what is script tag? I haven't covered this, but script tag helps you load the JavaScript file. If you put the script tag in head, it will be loaded first before it reads the HTML document. If you put the script tag at the bottom, it is the convention, okay? It is now the convention that you put it at the bottom. It means all the HTML code has been read, and then the JavaScript is now loaded into the page. So JavaScript can talk to, right, the HTML that is already open. If you put it up here, that's okay. Some situation it works perfectly. So the answer is that, do you get errors? It depends, okay? Some plugins, JavaScript. You can use JavaScript plugins. You can insert a script from somewhere else. They ask you to put at the top. Some ask you to put at the bottom. Thank you. So we go, thanks for asking, by the way. That way we make sure everyone's learning something, right? So here is an image. So we cannot, some elements you will not be able to do something like this, right? Because if you think about it, it's okay. This is a link I click on. That's a link. This is a paragraph. If you think about an image, I don't have this image thing, so I shouldn't tell people to write whatever text in here that doesn't make sense. So with this element, you don't need the second part. You don't need the text inside the tag, and you don't need the closing tag, okay? So you just need that. And now you need the source. And I don't know any image I can use, so I'm just gonna go and hopefully, you know, give me a second, so maybe I can find cute cats. And I am going to browse to a website and BuzzFeed, right? You know, when we don't learn coding, maybe we can spend time with BuzzFeed. And oh my God, that is a scary dog where the cat is so small. So I now go into source, and I just copy the link, right click, copy image address, go back here, paste, and I run. Let's see. All right? So we're learning some HTML. We play with them, and hope, you know, after today, you go and try to create some web page you can display, images, links. Let's try something harder. In this case, by the way, we learn HTML tags, but we haven't learned what is it inside here. These are HTML attributes. href attribute, and this is the attribute value, and this is a source. So it's not href, right? But you can also do with. So I can say with, 500 pixel. No, make it smaller, 200 pixel, right? When I do that, then, the image is a lot smaller. And sometimes some people may like, hey, just only 100%. So it means it just take up enough space. So if the browser is a bit bigger, it takes more space. You can be really flexible with this, right? So I change it back to maybe 100 pixel. Okay, now you see that a link to CoderSchool here and image, they just display next to each other. Right? So they just, over time we'll learn about styling, when they should be appearing next to each other, and when they will, they should be in the same line. Okay, so one harder element I haven't mentioned, but let's just try it. Imagine if I say my favorite programming languages. And now let's say if I write that, right? And you see this, that's not, is it what you expect? It may be, it may be not, but that's not what looks right to the user, right? So maybe I can put BR up here to practice the use of BR. So, and so let's say visit, okay, but down here, let me run that again. Favorite programming language. When I write this text, what is the element that I am in? I am in the body element. Okay, so I'm between this body tag. So in general, you don't do that. You want to have a parent element right there, right? So for example, you put a div. We have learned other, elements. So I'm learning the div elements. Okay, so I put it in here. So the first thing I get is that it's in a new line. So this div itself, right? It's a block, just like the whole horizontal space here. And now I can start listing favorite programming languages. I can list them, Haskell is my favorite language, maybe JavaScript, okay? So if I like that, and Ruby. So if I list them and try to style them, then you run into problems again, right? This is normal. And then you're gonna ask, hey, what's happening? Well, remember, you need to put a break if you want to display them line by line, but it doesn't look that good. What if you want to style this to be a star or square? There is a way to do that, and that is called a list. And you can create, I will explain, I will create very quickly here. Let's say I have one element. What is this? It is an element. It doesn't contain text, but it will contain other elements, right? This is unordered list. Unordered, it means no numbers. If you run this, you get a dot right there, and that's a bullet type. You can style this bullet into something else. You can make the indentation go all the way to the right. Let me add a list item to it, right? So li. And one more. So by doing it repeatedly, we're actually learn and start, right? So this is an unordered list. You can add them. You can style them after you, learn CSS. But now you can change one thing, which is ordered list, OL, and that will give you 1, 2, 3 for free. Okay. Another question from Hang. P and div equivalent. Very good question. Thank you. I could use div P here, and you don't notice the difference for now, but they are different. Okay. In fact, do you guys see the difference? If I change back to div, notice the space between the image and the line, right? A div contains the stuff inside, but it doesn't have the extra space around it, right? A P, it comes with a little space before or a little space after. So when you use P, it looks, the default is a little cleaner. We will understand this and how to change these values in CSS, okay? So I'm going to get back to the lecture and give you a, we'll proceed to CSS. Before we do that, oh my God, I got signed out. I don't know. You guys still hear me, right? And I think someone kicked me out, so I can't do Zoom. Okay, let me Okay, thank you for all, Didi. Let me do the next poll. Get ready to make sure that you're not